morning to all of you. Myself, Sandeep Sahu, PGT Computer Science, is here with you with computer networking concepts for class 12th computer science students. Today, I will discuss the networking concepts of 12th students, and we are starting with some basic historical concepts like ARPANET, Internet, and interspace. First of all, let's discuss about ARPANET. What is ARPANET? See the definition. ARPANET was the network that became the basis for the Internet. In 1967, ARPANET was developed under the direction of the United States Advanced Research Project Agency. So the main points which I would like to highlight are, first of all, the full form of ARPANET, Advanced Research Project Agency. Then, when it came in effect in 1967. And where it implemented in United States. It was a small network, but it was very important for us. Why we are giving importance to it? Because as we seen, it became the basis for today's Internet. You know Internet very well. I think in today's scenario, the person's life is not possible without Internet. What is the definition of Internet? The Internet is the global system of interconnected computer networks. Here, first of all, think it is a global system, then it is interconnected computers. Now come to the next topic, that is what? Interspace. What is interspace? Actually, you can say that the future of Internet is interspace. Firstly, we look at the definition. Interspace is basically a client-server software program, allows multiple users to communicate online with real-time audio, video, or text chat in dynamic 3D environments. So, the main thing which we should highlight here is it is a client-server software. It allows real-time audio, video, or text, and in which environment? In 3D environment. So these was the basic terminologies which we must know. First was ARPANET, second was Internet, and third was interspace. Now let's start with switching techniques. Firstly, what do you mean by switching? A mechanism for exchange of information between different computer networks and network segments is called switching in network. Means if there are several segments of Internet, then between these several segments the exchange of information will be take place with the help of switching techniques. So let's talk about these switching techniques. So switching techniques are divided in two main categories. The first category was circuit switching and the second category packet switching. There is one more switching technique known as message switching, but it is beyond your syllabus, so we will not discuss it at here. Now we are understanding it like circuit switching and packet switching are the two different methods of switching techniques that are used to connect the multiple communicating devices with one another. As I told you in previous slide, that it is used to connect various segments of network together. Now look at here the key difference. This is the main thing. The key difference between circuit switching and packet switching is that packet switching is connectionless, whereas circuit switching is connection oriented. This is the most important thing. Whenever we are saying packet switching, remember it is what? It is connectionless. And whenever we are saying circuit switching, it is what? It is connection oriented. We will learn circuit switching and packet switching with the help of a video. Please watch this video with me. Let's start this video. In this video, you are seeing there are various segments of network and we want to transmit data between two networks. Suppose we are considering these networks and as A and P. So for communication between A and B, first of all, a dedicated path should be established. As you are seeing here, a path is established between A and B. It may be any path, but for communication purpose, the path must be established between A and B. And during that time, the remaining path will be dedicated. That is, no communication can be take place with other parts. Now we are coming to the next, that is what? Packet switching. For packet switching method, the information is divided into different packets. These packets may be sent from one computer to another computer in an arbitrary fashion. So look at here. At sender A, the information is divided in 4 packets, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And these packets are going arbitrary from any path. There is no dedicated path required in case of packet switching. They are moving here and there, they are acquiring any path and ultimately they are getting, or you can say reaching, at the destination or receiver station. And at receiver station B, they are reassembling as 1, 2, 3 and 4. And thus switching takes place. Now, data communication terminologies. In this, we are discussing two terminology. First is data channel and second is bandwidth. Data channel. A data channel is a computer path used when transferring data from one device to another. So basically, what is data channel? It is a computer path. Like in previous video, we were seeing that between A and B in circuit switching, a dedicated path was established. So in that case, that dedicated path was data channel. Now come to bandwidth. What is bandwidth? Bandwidth describes the maximum data transfer rate of a network or internet connection. So what is the main thing? It is the maximum data transfer rate. It measures how much data can be sent over a specific connection in a given amount of time. So ultimately, it is measuring the amount of data, how much data it is written here, how much data can be sent. So bandwidth decides the amount of data going to be transferred from the data channel. And what was data channel? Data channel was the path acquired by the data for communication. Now come to units of data bandwidth. There are various units of data bandwidth, but we are discussing three units: hertz, kilohertz, and megahertz. First of all, hertz. Frequency rates are commonly expressed as units of hertz, which represents cycle per second and is abbreviated as hertz. So, whenever we are saying the frequency, so the meaning of frequency is what? Its meaning is cycle per second, means how many cycles are completed in 1 second. That is frequency, and the unit of frequency is hertz. And what is the abbreviation we are using? Hz. Kilohertz. Kilohertz is defined as the thousands of cycles per second. Thousands of cycles per second. Means in 1 second, if there are 1000 cycles, then we will say its frequency as 1 kilohertz. And megahertz. Megahertz is defined as millions of cycles per second. Means if there are 1 million cycles are completed in 1 second, then we will say its frequency is megahertz. Now, data transfer rate. The data transfer rate, in short we can say DTR, is the amount of digital data that is moved from one place to another in a given time. DTR sometimes shown in bytes per second, BPS with an uppercase B. Look at here, whenever we are saying bytes per second, so we will represent it with BPS, where B is capital. Whereas one more unit is there, bits per second, in which the representation is BPS, that is the first letter is small, lowercase. So DTR is represented in bytes per second rather than bits per second. Now, what is the relation between bits and bytes? First of all, you know very well, bit is the smallest unit of storage or memory, and byte is the most common unit of memory. And the relation is what? 1 byte is equals to how many bits? 8 bits. Let's talk about some more terms. BPS, look at here, B is small, so bit per second. KBPS, B is small, so kilobits per second. Mbps, B is small, so megabits per second. GBps, B is small again, so gigabits per second. TBps, here also B is small, so terabits per second. And in place of small b, if there is capital B, then in their definitions, in place of bits, byte will come. Now we are coming to the next topic, that is transmission media. Transmission media is a communication channel that carries the information from the sender to the receiver. So three things are important here: sender, receiver, and communication channel. Let's understand it with this diagram. Here you are seeing this is a sender, on the left side this is a receiver. If this sender and receiver wants to communicate with one another, then a medium is must. So this medium is actually the transmission medium by which transmission is taking place. Now, types of transmission media. Transmission media is mainly categorized in two ways: guided media and unguided media. Now come to the guided media. Guided media is again classified in twisted pair cable, then coaxial cable, then fiber optic cable. Now unguided media is also classified in various categories like radio wave, microwave, infrared, and satellite. Now, guided media. It is also referred to as wired or bounded transmission media. Signals being transmitted by using physical medium. So, what are the main things? First of all, guided media is also known as wired media. It is also known as bounded media. And signals are being transmitted by using physical medium. Now, come to unguided media. It is also referred to as wireless or unbounded transmission media. No physical medium is required for the transmission. So the main thing here, it is wireless media. It is also known as unbounded media, and no physical medium is required in unguided media. Now, a twisted pair cable is a type of cable made by putting two separate insulated wires together in a twisted pattern and running them parallel to each other. This type of cable is widely used in different kinds of data. By this definition, you can see that first of all, in this two or more wires are there. They are in twisted pattern. They run in parallel. These are the main things. And then it is the most commonly used cable for different kinds of data. Twisted pair cable is again classified in two forms. First is unshielded twisted pair and second is shielded twisted pair. Now, UTP, that is unshielded twisted pair, is a cable with wires that are twisted together to reduce noise and crosstalk. STP, is shielded twisted pair, is a twisted pair cable confined mesh shield that guards the cable against electromagnetic interference. This is the diagram for unshielded twisted pair and shielded twisted pair. So, UTP, unshielded twisted pair. Here, cables are twisted together and then shielded. And STP, that is shielded twisted pair. Here, cables are first shielded and then twisted together. Coaxial cable. Coaxial cable is a type of electrical cable consisting of an inner conductor surrounded by a concentric conducting shield, which are separated by a dielectric, that is insulating material. So here three things are important. First, inner conductor. Second, surrounded by concentric conducting shield, and these two are separated by what? Dielectric. As in this diagram you are seeing, this is the central conductor, this is the coil shield, braided shield, and these are separated with the help of dielectric. The whole arrangement is covered inside a jacket. Optical fiber. An optical fiber is a flexible, transparent fiber made by glass, that is silica. Light is kept in the core by the phenomenon of total internal reflection, which causes the light to travel in a curved path. Remember, the meaning of optical is light. That is, in optical cable, we transmit data with the help of light. But we know that light always travels in a straight line. So, how can we travel it in a curved path? This happens with the phenomenon of total internal reflection, and by which phenomenon optical fiber transmit light in a zigzag curved path. Let's understand this phenomenon. For total internal reflection, first of all, remember the ray of light must be travel from the denser medium to the rarer medium. So here is the core, which is the denser medium, and the cladding, which is the rarer medium. The second condition for total internal reflection is that the light should be traveled in such a way that the angle of incidence must be greater than critical angle. So, as you are seeing, this angle is the critical angle, and this critical angle has very low value. Thus, when the ray incident on it, then it gets reflected in the same medium due to the concept of total internal reflection, and by again and again this total internal reflection, this ray travel in a curved path. Now let's discuss about a comparative study between these three cables. So in first column we are taking the type of cable, coaxial cable, twisted pair cable, and optical fiber. Their advantages and disadvantages. For coaxial cable, firstly, advantage: inexpensive, easy to expand, widely used. What is the disadvantage of coaxial cable? First, single cable failure can take down an entire network. Second, limited in distance.
Hello, welcome to the postgraduate program.
Now come to twisted pair. What are the advantages of twisted pair? First, easy installation. Second, capable of high speed for LAN. Third, low cost. What are the disadvantages? More difficult installation in comparison of coaxial cable. Now come to fiber optics. Fiber optics advantage: fast speed. Second, can go for long distances. But disadvantages: very costly. Second, hard to install. Third, bending is not easy. Earlier we was discussing about guided transmission media, and now we are coming to unguided transmission media, under which first talk about infrared wave. Infrared waves with frequencies of 300 GHz to 400 THz can be used for the short range communication. Infrared waves having high frequencies cannot penetrate walls. You have seen infrared in your common daily life as a remote of television, and I think you are well familiar with the fact that if between this remote and television any obstacle comes, then remote doesn't work. Why? Because as we discussed that these cannot penetrate walls, that is obstacle. Under unguided media, now radio waves. Radio waves are omnidirectional waves. Look at here. These are omnidirectional waves having frequencies 3 kHz to 1 GHz. These waves can penetrate buildings easily, so that widely used for indoor and outdoor communication. Look at this diagram. The signal can be reflected, attenuated, refracted, absorbed, and diffracted. Next, microwave. Microwaves are widely used for point-to-point communication. Look at here. Main thing, point-to-point communication. Okay. Because their small wavelength allows conveniently sized antennas to direct them in narrow beams, which can be pointed directly at the receiving antenna. A communication satellite is an artificial satellite that relays and amplifies radio telecommunication signals via a transponder. It creates a communication channel between a source transmitter and a receiver at different locations on Earth. So, a diagram is also given here. From a sender, signals are going up to satellite, which is known as uplink, and from the satellite, it comes to the receiver antenna, which is known as downlink. So dear students, let's see the working of satellite communication. As I told you, waves moves from sender station to the satellite and then get reflected from the satellite and receives by the receiver station. So dear students, let's take a quick revision of your syllabus which we studied till now under the recapitulation. A study of second unit we have done here, under which the first topic we studied was ARPANET, that is Advanced Research Project Agency, came in 1967. Second was Internet, that is the global system of interconnected computers. Next was Interspace, which we consider as the future of Internet. It is a client-server software program, works in real time and in 3D environment. Then we talked about switching techniques. Switching techniques are the exchange of information between different computer network segments. Then we talked about circuit switching, which is the connection-oriented switching technique. Then we studied about the packet switching, which is the connection-less switching technique. After that, under data communication terminology, we studied concept of channel, which is the computer path used for transferring data. Then bandwidth, that is maximum data transfer rate of a network. Then data transfer rate, in short we can say DTR, which is the amount of digital data that is moved from one place to another. Then transmission media, that carries the information from the sender to the receiver. Then twisted pair cable and coaxial cable. For this, we divided transmission media in two categories: guided, which is wired or bounded, it needs physical path, and second was unguided, which is wireless or unbounded and does not require any physical path or medium. Then twisted pair cable, in which two wires remain in twisted pattern and run in parallel. Then coaxial cable. One more thing, twisted pair may be of two types: UTP, full form unshielded twisted pair; STP, full form shielded twisted pair. Okay, coaxial cable. It has inner conductor and conducting shield, and both are separated by a dielectric. Next, optical fiber. Optical fiber is flexible, transparent fiber in which light travels in a curved path, and it is based on TIR, that is total internal reflection phenomenon. After that, infrared, frequency range 300 GHz to 400 THz. Short range communication, cannot penetrate walls. After infrared, come to radio waves, which are omnidirectional, frequency range 3 kHz to 1 GHz, can penetrate buildings or any obstacle. Microwave supports point-to-point communication, small in wavelength, travel in narrow beams. And last, satellite link, that relays and amplify signals by artificial satellite with the help of uplink and downlink. So dear students, this was the topics of computer networks which we covered in today's session. Some common topics of networking in CS and IP was already covered in previous session. And these are the topics which we will discuss in our next class. Till that, goodbye. Keep studying. Thank you.